Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Welcome back to another Aphelium beginner guide where we're going to go ahead and talk about the new crafting system. This is a big change within the game that could impact the upcoming season. The nice thing is they put it in here for the preseason so we can go ahead and test out and make sure we understand how it all works, putting everything together so we're raring to go. And like I said, this is a key component for the upcoming season because the way you earn and the way you get on the leaderboard higher is through crafting. So you want to make sure that you understand it. And what we're going to do in this video is tell you how to go ahead and do the new crafting. But before we jump into the video, please take a quick look at this disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own research before you jump into any project. Don't take my word for it. Just make sure it's right for your situation. All right, before we can actually talk about the crafting system itself, we have to talk about what you need in order to craft. So these are the few items that you have to go ahead and make sure that you have in order to go ahead and start the crafting process. So the first thing you're going to need is the crafting skill. And there's a number of different assortments of crafting skills that are available, from regular crafting to cooking and alchemy. Depending on your strategy of the game is depending on how you want to go ahead and maneuver through these skills. You are going to need the basic crafting skill in order to really get started with crafting. So that's kind of a requirement there. But as far as how you want to progress through and what you want to focus on crafting, you're going to go ahead and determine which one's going to be next. For example, if you want to focus strictly on the crafting side and then move to cooking at a later stage, or if you want to go ahead and jump to cooking and really try and push those and upgrade those two items. That's completely up to you and completely up to your strategy. But as far as getting the skills themselves, you have to go ahead and level up a few times. Every time you level up, you get a skill point. And every time you get a skill point, you can go ahead and use it towards a skill. We have a whole other video on this, on how I kind of prioritized my early game. And you can go ahead and check that out if you choose to do so. But I wanted to make sure that you understand that you need the skills in order to craft different items. And we'll dive into which skills are needed for which items here in this video. In addition to that, you're going to go ahead and need land. You need to have access to at least one land in order to be able to craft. With the new crafting system, it actually pays to have multiple lands if you want to go ahead and craft a number of different items. So yeah, understand that, but all you need to do is start with one for the basic game, especially if you're new to the game itself. It gives you a number of benefits to have a land, and we won't go through all the details, but you can go ahead and use it as a base for your crafting and be able to do a number of other things with it also. So now that you understand the two main requirements that you need to go ahead and get started with crafting, the skills and the land, let's go ahead and dive over to the articles. There are two articles currently available. This first article that is available actually on the website, I'll also have a link in the description down below, is basics for crafting. This was the original crafting that was out there. It teaches you the basics, tells you it tells you a number of the recipes. You can get an updated list of the recipes within the Discord, and I'll show you that here in a second. But this article that you'll see down below just really talks about each of the items and as far as going ahead and crafting. Once you're ready to go ahead and crafting, you have the skill, you have the land, you're going to go ahead and need the crafting item. These are the items that you use in order to be able to craft. And there's things like the workbench, the cooker pro, alchemy table, and so forth down, which you can see all the details in this article. We'll focus really on the workbench for this video, maybe a cooker. We'll go ahead and do a cooking recipe also. But those are the main things that you need. You're going to start off with the workbench most likely as your first item when you go ahead and craft. And in order to craft that, you just need the basic one skill, the basic crafting skill in order to do that, plus the land, as I mentioned earlier. If you scroll down this, you're going to go ahead and see a number of recipes. It shows you the ingredients that you're going to need, the crafting tool that you're going to need, the skill that it requires. So you can go ahead and decide which items you want to go ahead and take a look at. And for example, if I want to do cooked fish, I'm going to need 50 fish that you can get from exploring or working or from owning land. You're going to need the cooker, so you're going to have to go up here and craft the cooker that we had talked about before, just the basic cooker, not the cooking pro. And then you're going to need that skill, which is the second skill here. I should say it's the first cooking skill. It's a second crafting skill. So it's this basic crafting here that you're going to go ahead and need for that. Oops, sorry. And then it's going to tell you the benefits for each of the items. So you can go ahead through that. Again, I'll show you a spot in the Discord that has the most up-to-date list. This is just the basic one. So in the past, as far as crafting goes, one workbench, you could instantly craft whatever item. Or one cooking pot, you could instantly craft one of the cooked fish that we were just talking about here. Crafting has evolved a little bit within the game just in time for the new season, where it's more realistic, we'll say. For example, instead of having that instant product as soon as you go ahead and craft it, now you're going to have to wait a certain period of time when you go ahead and craft it. Now I'll have a link to this new article around the new crafting also in the description down below. But it's now going to depend on a number of things. So if I go ahead and scroll down here, now a time element that's going to come into the crafting. So instead of instantly crafting that cooked fish, say it could take you 60 minutes to go ahead and craft that cooked fish. So it's not like a lot of people were taking advantage of the instant crafting in the past, so they wanted to put that duration in there. The other item that you need to be aware of with the new crafting system is the fact that you can't craft multiple at a time because you can no longer do it instantly. The only way you can go ahead and craft multiple items at the same time is one of two ways. Either own multiple lands that have the crafting tools with it, or you can go ahead and look at getting the advanced crafting tools. For example, the new advanced workbench that they just implemented, or the cooking pot 2.0 Pro is another advanced one, and alchemy is another one. So those are things that you have to be aware of. You either need multiple lands now, or you need some of the advanced equipment. So your strategy from past seasons may need to adjust a little bit to account for both the timing that's there and the ability to do multiple ones. So let's go ahead and walk through this in a little more detail. I'm not going to talk about each of the numbers and all the details itself. I just want to kind of give you an idea. So the components from the time perspective, you're going to have to, your astronaut's level is now going to impact the time it takes. The rarity of the land is going to impact the time it takes, and also the rarity of the item. So it's a combination. There's a nice table that's out here on the document, so you can go ahead and quickly reference. For example, if I have an astronaut that is level 8, he's going ahead and blending or crafting a common item on common land, it's going to take me 60 minutes to go ahead and do that. But if I happen to have that same astronaut who's crafting that same common item, but he's doing it on a legendary land, it's only going to take him 5 minutes. So you can see the difference as far as another benefit for owning the higher rarity lands that are available out there. There's a number of benefits. This just adds to it as far as the benefits go. And every time you level up your astronaut by 10 levels, for example, from level 1 up to level 10, you're going to go ahead and have a decrease also with your crafting time. So there's benefits to going ahead and leveling up, benefits to going ahead and having the higher tier lands, and so forth. So that's the timing. That kind of just gives you some idea around the timing. Let's actually take a look at the crafting tools and how they impact your overall crafting process. As far as the basic crafting tools, and that is the workbench and the basic cooker, they're only going to be able to craft one type of item at a time, but you can go ahead and craft 5 of those one types of items. So that's nice that it gives you that option there. If you want to go ahead and get one of the advanced items, it allows you to craft 2 different types of items on that, for example, this alchemy table. 2 different types of the items, up to 10 of the items itself. So you can have 2 different items, and you can have 5 of 5 and so forth in order to go ahead and craft those, or multiple lands, which we had already talked about. If you have 3 lands that all have basic workbenches, you can go ahead and craft 1 different type of item on each of those lands. So it's a total of 3 different type of items, 5 of the same item up there. So you can go ahead and do the math depending on what you have in your situation is, or you can figure out, hey, I don't have enough of this certain item. I can go ahead and do that, either get an advanced workbench, or go ahead and get another land that allows you to do that, whichever works best for your situation. And as I mentioned, when you go ahead and level up your character, that's going to go ahead and give you a boost also within the game. All right, the rest of this kind of talks about the basic workbench, the advanced workbench. I'll let you go ahead in your own time and check that out. Again, there will be a link in the description down below. What I wanted to do is actually, now that you understand the concept of the new crafting system, let's go ahead and jump in and craft a few things and show you the process in order to go ahead and do that crafting. So what you're going to want to go ahead and do is jump into the game itself. If you're not familiar with the game, you're going to go ahead and do in the play here section. A pro tip, go ahead and / private session. And that's going to go ahead and open up your own private session. So you're not competing against other players and what they're putting in there. It's just a whole lot easier just to manage your system. The other thing that you do want to check out is the recipe section down here. That's going to have the most up-to-date list of recipes, any new recipes that they put in there. They're not going to update the Medium articles. They're going to update it in here. So you can check out that and go through any recipes that you have. But let's go ahead and actually talk about crafting something within the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and craft some cooked fish. We had been talking about the cooked fish over in the other document. It's going to take me 50 fish. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is check to make sure, do I have 50 fish that I can go ahead and cook? So you want to go in here, type in a / inventory, and that's going to show you your updated inventory that's within the game. And you can go ahead and double check to make sure you have the fish you need. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll over here. We're going to take a look. We have fruit and we have 97 fish. So now that you made sure that you had enough fish in there to make the cooked fish, for example, 97 for what we're trying to do. The other thing you want to go ahead and double check before we start thinking about crafting is if you go ahead and check the slots used. You need to have at least a slot available if you're crafting something within game. If you're crafting something like a crafting table or scissors or something else that gets minted, then you can go ahead and have it mint directly to your wallet and you don't have to worry about the slots. But things like food items, like cooked fish and things like that, you're going to have to make sure that you have a slot in the game. So go ahead and double check that. Thankfully, we do have a slot available. So now what you want to go ahead and do, you know you have the inventory and you know you have the slot. You want to go ahead to that land where you're going to be crafting at. So you want to go back to bases. And you go to whatever land that you're going to craft. So I'm going to go ahead and WL crops just to make sure that I am there. Now that I'm at that location, what I'm going to go ahead and do is now I can go ahead and use the cooking pot that's at this location. I have the inventory, I have the slot open. So let's go ahead and / craft. And what it's going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you what you want to go ahead and craft. I'm going to craft cooked fish as this example, and then it's going to ask you how many you want to go ahead and craft. I'm just going to do one. I only have enough. I only have 97 fish, so I only have enough to do that one. So we'll go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to ask me what crafter do I want to go ahead and use. So use the pull down. I have the option between the cooker and the Cook X2 Pro. So we're going to go ahead and just use the regular cooker because it only needs basic cooking for this. So we'll go ahead and select on that. It asks, are you sure you want to go ahead and do cooked fish? You want to go ahead and do 50, and it's going to take me 60 minutes because I'm on a common land. So if I go ahead and hit continue, it's going to go ahead and get started. It does cost willpower, so understand that you're going to need a little bit of willpower in order to do this. But then you can go ahead and craft. You can go wait. It's going to give you a ping over here in the pings once that crafting is complete. Once the crafting is complete, you're going to want to go ahead and collect, COL, your crafted item. So you go ahead and collect. And when you go ahead and do that, it's going to give you a list here of what's available for you to go ahead and collect. You collect it, you tell how many of the quantity. So you're always going to have to put quantity, even if there's only one in there, always have to put the one in there. And you click enter, and it's going to go ahead and put it in your storage. If you want to go ahead and craft something like a workstation or something along those lines, it's going to give you the minting option. So let's go ahead and see if I have enough to go ahead and craft let's go ahead and see if I can craft an axe. I don't know if I have enough on my inventory. So you go ahead and click on that, crafting. Yeah, I don't have enough stone out there. So let's go ahead and find a recipe. I'm gonna break for a second, jump back because I want to show you the minting side of it also. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is mint a sickle. This gives you this again. This is the recipe section. It gives you everything that you're gonna need to go ahead and craft that. So you're going to go ahead and need this ingredients, which I do have. I double checked to make sure I had that in my inventory. It tells you the benefits of going ahead and having it while you work, what you're going to need as far as a crafting tool goes, and where you're going to have it in order to use it. So let's go back to our spot here. We're just going to double check. I think I'm already at my land, so we'll just double check that we're at the right land. So we'll go ahead and go there. And what we're going to do is the same process where you go through crafting. You go craft, and your entity, you can go ahead and put an S, is going to be for the sickle. And then you go ahead, you can hit the quantity, or you can go ahead and hit return. If you want to do more than one, you want to go ahead and click on quantity there, but we'll go ahead and hit enter. And what it's going to do is it gives you a slightly different screen than the crafting that we just did for the cooked fish. And this is the product. This is the ingredients that it's going to take. It's also going to take 60 minutes, but because I'm using the cooker for the cooked fish, this is actually going to use the workbench, so it's technically a different item on the land, so I can go ahead and craft those two items at the same time. And then instead of crafting it, you're going to go ahead and click on mint. When you click on mint, it's actually going to go ahead after the 60 minutes and mint an NFT into your Wax wallet. So we'll go ahead and click on mint, make sure it's the right wallet. Go ahead and click on that. And now, again, it takes a little bit of willpower in order to do it, but it's going to go ahead and create that and mint it to your wallet itself. So that's crafting. That's the new crafting system. The couple keys that you're going to need to remember, we'll just do a quick recap. You're going to need the skills that you want to go ahead and use for the specific crafting that you're looking to do. You're going to at least need the basic crafting to get started. But then depending on your strategy, you can go ahead from there. You will need a base, so you can go ahead and put that whatever working tool that you have or crafting tool that you have, it needs to be staked to your land. Then you go ahead, make sure you have the inventory or the ingredients to go ahead and do that. Open slot if it's going to go into your wallet or into your inventory, or you can go ahead and mint it, and you just go through the process, go to your base, you go to crafting, craft the item, and wait, and you're going to need to make sure that you wait this specific amount of time depending on your scenario. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer those. Or if you need any additional Aphelium beginner guides, I'll be happy to also put those together for you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.